Now we're going to go ahead and incorporate a contact form onto our contact page. A contact form on a website is a fillable form that allows visitors to communicate with the website owner or manager. They allow users to reach out to a business without using traditional methods like email or phone calls. You can use forms for a variety of purposes, including making inquiries, providing feedback, or requesting customer support. When a visitor fills out the form, the information is sent to the website owner's email or stored in a database. Contact forms can help reduce spam and provide a more secure way for visitors to contact a business. They can also be a valuable lead generation tool, as users who fill out a contact form can be added to a mailing list for email marketing. We'll be able to customize our form and add a number of different sorts of fields. Let's return to our contact page and incorporate a form. If you were with me in the last exercise, we added contact information as well as a map. I went ahead and added my testimonials to my page. I had previously built those with you, and I had turned them into a pattern, so adding them into my page was very quick and effortless. We're going to go ahead and add the form in between these two elements. I will begin by making a new container. I'm just going to make a one-column container, and I'll go back into list view and drag this in between these two elements. Just so I can keep things organized, I'm going to go ahead and rename the container above Contact Info and Map, and then we'll go ahead and we'll name this new container Form. I'll start off by creating a heading inside my form. Now that I have my text inside this area, I'm going to create a new element, and this will be my form element. Within the Spectra plugin, we do have a form. This is going to make it really easy for us to incorporate a form into our website. By default, you have 3 form layouts to start with: a simple contact form, a newsletter form, and a suggestion form. All of these forms can be customized, and you can basically add any of the elements to any of the forms. We'll start off by adding a simple contact form. This is a great starting point for a form, as it does add first name, last name, email, and message. These are all components that we want to add to our form, but we will modify them so that this works perfectly for our website. Now that I look in the list view, I can see that none of these elements are in my container. I'm going to quickly move them into the container so that I can keep things organized. With the form container selected, I'm going to go to General, and we're going to make sure that this area is boxed. I don't want this to be full width, so I'll set it to boxed. Regarding the layout, I'll change my align items to flex start, and I'm going to justify content in the center. Then we'll move on to our form element. With the form selected, the panel on the right is going to give us information about our form. Under the General section, we can choose to show labels or not. If you turn the labels off, you will just have the placeholder text that is going to identify what these elements are going to do. Now, obviously, John is not very helpful, so it might be nice to change this to something like name. You can easily do that by selecting the individual form components, and then you'll be able to modify those. Let's go back to the basic form edits, though, before we get into the individual elements. Under Style, you can have your form show as being boxed, or you can simply show underlined areas. You can obviously choose whatever preference you have, but I'm going to keep mine at boxed. You can also choose your label alignment. This, of course, is not going to affect anything on our page unless we have the labels shown. So if we decide to hide the labels, this would not apply. You can also choose your placeholder alignment. I suggest that under most circumstances, you want this to be left. For confirmation type, you can choose message or URL text. We'll leave ours at message, and then this is what the message is going to say. I'm going to add, "Thanks for filling out our form," and then I'll say, "We will be in touch with you soon." I'll go ahead and get rid of the placeholder text that came with the form. You also have the option to add an error message text. So if you want to customize this, you can go ahead and write whatever it is that you want. The next option that we have is our submit button. So you have different styles of the submit button. I'm going to make mine more rounded, and then you can choose how you want the button to be aligned. I'll leave mine on the left. Under the action area is where you can specify where you want the results of the form to be sent. So you'll want to go ahead and add your email address, and you can go ahead and add a custom form subject. If you would like to have a Google reCAPTCHA on your form, you can go ahead and enable a CAPTCHA. In order to do this, you will have to go ahead and link to Google and get the secret key. More information can be found by clicking this. I'm going to turn this off. Under the preset area, you can go ahead and specify preset designs that come with Spectra. I will leave mine at the first one where the form fields are going to show. Under the Style tab is where we can go ahead and style the elements. So we can do things like setting our label color. We can adjust the typography. The row spacing is the spacing between the various rows of content. This includes both the label and the input fields. And then we have label bottom margin, which is going to control how far or close the labels are to the form elements. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this down to about 2. If we go to the next area, which is input, we can style how we want our input elements to look. You can do things like set the color of the input fields. You can specify the placeholder color as well as the background color. In addition, you can set a border style, the border width, as well as the radius. I'm going to increase the radius slightly so that the design matches other elements within my website. You also have the option to control what the form field looks like when it is viewed normally or when the user hovers over. And finally, you can adjust the padding, which is the spacing on the inside of the form fields. The next option covers checkboxes, toggle, and radio buttons. We don't have any of those on our form yet, so we will return to this once we add some of those fields. Then we have the submit button, and you can go ahead and choose the button size. You can specify the color of the button. So I am going to go ahead and set my background color to be my darker teal. My text color can just remain at the default, which is white. And then you can specify how you want your button to look when it's hovered. I will change the color to be the brick red when the button is hovered over. I'll change my text color to be white. You can do things like control the typography of your button, as well as the padding, border, and border radius. The next option that we have is message. Message is where you can go ahead and specify how you want the message to look. So we'll change our success text color to our dark green. We're going to set the background color to our light gray. We will add a border of solid. I'm going to set the width to 1 pixel, and we'll specify a radius of 12 pixels. For our error message, I'm going to set the text color to our brick red. The background color is going to be the light gray. The border will be solid, 1 pixel, and the radius is going to be 12. We also have options for normal and hover, and then finally you have options for spacing. This is the spacing around the form. Let's go ahead and let's augment some of these fields. I do want first and last name, but I don't want last name to say Doe. And in all honesty, since I have the labels, I don't think that the placeholder text is really necessary, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I may leave the placeholder text on my email though, so the user has an example of how I expect to get the email. This actually looks fine. You can choose to make any of the fields required or not. I will go ahead and make my email field required, and when I do, you can see that this little red asterisk is generated. I'm going to go ahead and add a new form element. So with my email selected, I will hit the plus sign, And you can see in Spectra, it takes me to all of the form elements that I can add into my form. We're going to add a telephone number. So I'm going to go ahead and specify phone number. And then we can click on these fields and plug in which country we think most of our users would use. I'm going to set mine to USA, Canada, and I will leave the placeholder text as it is because this is fine for my needs. I am not going to make the phone number required. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll add radio buttons. Radio buttons are where the user has an option to select one of multiple choices. They typically are rounded and will display a label after them. Checkboxes are similar, but they do allow users to check multiple choices. So think about the types of questions you're asking and whether you want users to select multiple options or only select one. I'm going to select a radio button, and this will allow me to set up my radio button. So the first thing we have is the radio box title. I'm going to change this to say, I'm interested in. My first option will be home terrariums. I'm going to add an additional option, and this is going to be business terrariums. And we'll add one, and this one can just be large-scale projects. This will help me collect a little bit more information about my user. With the radio element selected, you can choose a squared layout or a round layout. You can also make these options required. Let's go ahead and save our form and let's check it out in the front end so far. I'll refresh, and you can see this is what my form looks like. So my fields allow the user to click within these fields, type their name, their email address, enter their phone number, choose why they might need a terrarium, and enter a custom message. If the user clicks submit and they have not filled out all of the fields, you can see that a pop-up is going to be specified asking the user to complete the form field. Because the message is required, I can't submit without entering a message. Now when I click submit, you will see that I get the success message, which lets the users know that the form has been successfully completed and that we'll be in touch with them soon. It is worth noting that the first field that you get with radio buttons or checkboxes is the label. The second field is what's going to show up when you receive the form. So in some cases, you might want this information to be different. Let's say I sold products and I might want a more descriptive name for the product, but then when I receive the form, I might want a part number to appear instead. So you can change these values if you need to. I'm going to come down to my last field, which is my text area field, and I'm going to make this element not be required. I'll also add a custom placeholder message. And finally, I'm going to select my form element. I'm going to come into the spacing area. I will unlink these, and I'm going to change top to 0 so that my form is a little bit closer to my messaging. Let's save this now and look at it in the front end. And now you can see this is what my form looks like. Using the Spectra plugin, you will have the ability to add all sorts of different form elements and quickly and easily use the information that is available here to build your own custom form. Forms are a great way to be able to interact with your users, and you can make as many forms as you need to have on your website. In many situations, you might have a general contact form and you might have some sort of call to action where you're going to encourage users to sign up for your newsletter. Think about how you want to communicate with your end users and how a form might enable you to do so.